Hello, I'm Kate Davis, and this is Humor in the C-Suite, a show about how leaders use humor to create an extraordinary work culture. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Humor in the C-Suite. My guest this week has a career that has spanned corporate boardrooms, global classrooms, and stand-up comedy stages. Matthew Hill brings a rare blend of wit, warmth, and wisdom to the art of communication. As a leadership trainer, intercultural facilitator, and presentation coach, Matthew helps executives, emerging leaders, and teams unlock confidence, clarity, and impact, whether they're pitching, presenting, or navigating high-stakes conversations. Having trained teams from EY to GE Capital and delivered workshops in more than 30 countries, Matthew is deeply versed in the real-world dynamics of cross-cultural communication and influence. His sessions are energizing, applied, and always action-oriented. He's especially skilled in flipping limiting beliefs, taking the "I could never" to transform it into "watch me do it." Whether he's guiding a nervous speaker through their first keynote, coaching a CEO on how to not to bore their team, or mediating conflict with humor and empathy, Matthew knows how to meet people where they are and move them forward. He thrives in global settings, whether in person or virtual, and has built a reputation for helping professionals of all stripes find their voice, sharpen their message, and lead with purpose. I loved having as a guest. You guys are going to love him too. It really, really just struck a chord because it's so hard to communicate with confidence. Confidence is something, I've struggled with for a long time. It's hard to find your voice, and he helps people do that. So please welcome my guest this week on Humor in the C-Suite, Matthew Hill. How are you, Matthew?
Never better, he lied. Fantastic.
Thank you for joining me all the way from the UK. I know it's the afternoon there, so I'm so grateful for your time. I love what you do, who you are. You're Matthew with a double T. So let's start there.
No, exactly. The second T, I had to pay good money for that. Someone else wanted it. I took it, but it is silent. So it's a private thing. It's a private thing. The second T.
Second T. I like it. Well, T for two. That's what they say in England, don't they?
Good.
See, there you go. It's interesting because I've had a lot of different guests and different occupations on Humor in the C-Suite, but I'm so interested in what you do, like building people's confidence and communication and all that. It's really an interesting angle, and coming from a stand-up point of view. Is that correct? Are you a stand-up comic or?
Okay, mate, you're the real deal. I'm a fake, an imposter. But I will tell you a little bit about the stand-up thing.
Yeah, please.
I did it when we were both. Well, probably you weren't born. And I used to do the Daily News version, of sort of mocking the Daily News. I think you've got an American version called Mock the Week. I did a version of that way before. And that, of course, when you've done the show, you walk away and you go, I've got no material for next week. So you start from a blank sheet. So that was fairly stressful and horrific. Recently, very quickly, my missus did a monkey see, monkey do with a friend who did a comedy course to make you funny. You can have your own opinion, Kate, whether that's ever going to work. She did this course not very well taught.
Oh.
So there was a crash and burn attendance. So by week 3, 21 had gone down to 5. So they said, does anyone else want to have a go? I foolishly stepped up with only 2 weeks to go, having not been in the saddle for decades. And we did a show at a proper comedy club, quite a famous one in the UK. And I must say, Susie and I did pretty well. We were the best of the bunch, and it was all good. So she does. I'm a German. We don't have a sense of humor, and all this. And I did my getting a hospital appointment and a colonoscopy.
Nice.
I think I put people off bum cameras for life. It's all good. We got a few laughs.
You don't see him coming. That's all I have to say about that.
That's very good. That's very good.
I try. Other than the stand-up course that you took, and I do believe comedy or humor can be taught. We find what we look for, and I believe it's everyone can leverage, humor to a certain extent. So, can you tell me your story and what you do? I know you've been in a lot of C-suites and boardrooms, but now you're training those people. So, what do you?
Yeah.
Who are you, Spy?
No, exactly. So here we go. So my philosophy is to spread out as much education and philosophy as possible based on communication and presentation, all that good stuff, leadership as well. Imagine an organization, a listener, as I hypnotize you. What if all the people around you were at an 8 out of 10 level for confidence and competence in presentation, communication, writing for impact, influencing, bonding, networking, blah, de, blah, de, blah. It would float your boat. Your corporation, your organization, your charity would really do amazingly well for retention of talent, happiness, engagement, success. So that's the idea, and I do that. My story, I joined a headquarters, which sounded like the right thing to do. Thanks, Mum. And it was a cultural desert. All the love and all the money were going out to the field. So I thought, I've got to join the field. I asked my boss, who was later taken by US Marshals in chains across to America, Florida, where he spent Christmas. But we won't talk about that now. And you can learn as much from a bad boss as you can from a good one. That's what I say. So I got the choice of India, Lebanon, or the Czech Republic. All you guys stateside know exactly where the Czech Republic are and can easily point it out on a map, I'm sure. The woman who went to India got seriously ill, so that could have been the end of me, but it wasn't. Lebanon wanted a French speaking woman. I had the language, but not the curves. So I went for the Czech Republic, and it was like going back to the 1950s. I had a few
Wow.
friends there. I met Václav Havel, the very famous president, Queen Elizabeth II. I met Margaret Thatcher on one of her last public gigs.
Wow.
That was a blast. That was weird. Every Czech prime minister, when you shook hands with the Czech prime minister, you had to count your fingers afterwards, just make sure they were all still there. And it was a village. You could walk across Prague, the capital, in 45 minutes. I knew anybody and everybody. This
Wow.
was my marketing trick. The food was a bit iffy, a bit dodgy decades ago. So there was one French bistro near my office. So a new chief executive of a global corporation would turn up, and I'd phone up and say, "Do you fancy lunch?" And they go, "Well, I'm a bit busy." I said, "Trust me, I'll take you somewhere, and you're going to remember it forever,
Huh.
or certainly for your trip." 2 hours, three courses, bottle of wine, $60. Best marketing buck you could spend. At the end, I nearly always got a deal. Consultancy, this, that, the other, training. It was beautiful. It was perfect. Some of those guys are still my friends. So
Wow.
that was the idea. Then so what do I do now? It is presentation skills. I'm doing it with the French, which is hilarious. I've done sessions this week with that, and that's hilarious. Geography. No, mate, it's geography. We're in London now. And all this sort of stuff. So cultural differences, humor is built into French English training, and then other stuff as well. So confidence. Earlier in the week, I was with laborers or managers of physical laborers, the construction industry, getting them to manage and negotiate with people. So if I can float everyone's skill level up to 8 out of 10, I've done my job.
I love that. Because you're taking something that's out of the ordinary, right? And there's nothing like bonding with people and breaking bread with them.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that. You made yourself at home in Prague.
Oh, I love it's my second home. Second. So I was there for 5.5 years.
Wow.
Whenever I get a training opportunity, I say yes, and then I afterwards ask, "What is it?" And it's normally okay. It's normally okay. Great fun. Great fun.
So how do you use humor in your day-to-day life
Well,
other than being
endlessly.
British?
No, very good, very good. I tell you what, a British accent goes quite a long way.
It's
Goes quite a
true.
long way, and then you've got sort of the word understandings and the rest of it. Quite funny. The guy down the bottom of the road, I've just been there, Spin Studio Cycling.
Yeah.
He's a New York Indian failed medic spin instructor, and I'm teaching him in English. Hello. Uh, all right, mate. So that's all quite fun. Now, well, how do I do it? The nearest I come to raw humour, I do writing for impact, and I will give people a template and they will write a story. And then
Ah,
we'll bring it to life with a bit of sort of role play or improv or this or that or the other. So it's an impactful, influencing sort of email or something. And that just people riff on that, and then they learn to improvise themselves,
Wow.
which is a way of just getting out of your I can't self-limiting belief
Right.
into wow creativity. And so that's a fun way of doing it. Or you will get, especially with the blue collars, you'll get some resistor if they are not a fragile aggressive. If they're a good person with introversion on top, you really can get what we call in England the banter. So the to and fro, you really can start to zing and zang with that. And of course, that amuses everybody. And so you start with one person and then do it. Got to be very careful. Got to be very, in these modern, very delicate, fragile
Yeah, of course.
days, of course, you don't want the letter from HR.
No.
You upset them. But, in the good old days, you could do whatever you liked.
But okay, so you're teaching people how to communicate and really and with confidence. I mean, that's one of your
Yeah.
key points. Are you finding so within different industries you're finding it different, but how are you bringing or really teaching them to have confidence in the humor part of that?
Very go oh, I tell you what, no, very good. So it's the humor. Let's just look at confidence.
Yeah.
Low confidence, I would say I'm doing a program for those guys. Add an extra, in America, you have show and tell, and everyone seems to have the gift of the gab, as we say in English, the a silver tongue. In England, that's totally not we're an introvert nation. I don't want to speak up. I don't want to vote. I don't want to stand up. So really, my therapeutic idea is add a sentence everywhere. As you walk down the street, say hello. Imagine you're in a village, not a town. Imagine you're in America, not the UK. So that's the add a sentence idea. So people are just taking baby steps out of their comfort zone,
Right.
and so becoming more comfortable, and then we can blend that in with there. Then at the next level, you've got the sort of the alpha, the testosterone, the adrenaline types. And really, it is not, can you just take your foot off my neck? You don't have to win. Can we engage? So there it's more tell to dialogue. And it's quite interesting. A lot of people who can tell and give commands are a little bit more reticent when it comes to dialogue, discussion, and debate. And then the top level is wonderful. I think it's called the fourth ashram, but let's not get too philosophical and biblical. And that really is about giving away your power, becoming a guru, becoming one of these sort of helpers of other people, passing the house of cards,
Yeah.
passing the elevator back down, that
Right.
sort of idea. So confidence comes in. But I tell you what, I get so many people who are on the presentation course. Shall I start with a joke? No, Bob, you're absolutely not funny. And a joke I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube. You know how to do it. It's not easy. Not everyone can do it. But
Yeah.
these people think I can just get a joke off Chat GBT and tell it. No, you can't.
Oh,
One, Chat GBT has probably nicked it from someone else, and two, you don't know how to do that, especially not live with a few nerves. So it's less jokes, by the way. It's more stories.
right.
But also the idea of crashing concepts together is quite a fun way of doing it in business because there's a lot of opportunity for that.
Okay, so let's get into that. When you say crashing concepts together, can you give me an example?
My mind instantly goes blank. But now what one guy said it was brilliant. This was improv. This brilliant guy. He goes, "We've got some very accurate software which is very good at predicting future business and future returns. And we're not going too well, so our costs are exceeding our income. So I can tell you almost to the minute when we're going to go bankrupt." He said it in a real meeting. He was doing it for real. And of course, it was very funny, but it was based on tragedy. He
Right.
did have the software. They were going to hit a brick wall. He was telling them it in this funny way. So everyone did this sort of, oh,
Uh,
it was that was sort of change and impact wrapped in a thin layer of humor. I do quite like that. I do
yeah,
quite like
the misdirection.
the flip at the end.
Yeah.
Exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Are you finding humor really helps with team collaboration when you go into these rooms?
Totally, totally. If we are laughing together, we're creating happy chemicals, oxytocin, and the rest. We're bonding together. Also, laughter is this buffer. When we're laughing, we're not judging. When we're laughing, we're not hating. When we're laughing, we're not engaging. And so, laughter is a sort of social lubricant and so forth. The bands. So when people do team play, I mean, this. What are two words does everyone hate? Role play, and then you get them doing role play.
Right.
Quite a funny one today. I'll give everyone a nice exercise. You draw a line,
Okay.
and you have pairs across the line. The winner is the one who persuades the other person to come to their side of the line, and then everyone gets confused, and then they all start to bribe or threaten, which is one of the techniques, and you've got them there. And so you've got the competitive chemicals, you've got the I don't know you, I better know you. And the answer to most of these things, start a conversation, listen for drivers and values.
Yeah.
And humor is a wonderful way of finding people's laughter, drivers and values. If you're laughing, you understand. If you are laughing, it is resonating on your frequency. So
Yeah.
it's a very good audit tool. It's a very
Yeah.
good survey and engagement tool. And that's how we can use it.
That's so interesting. I love that as a survey tool. Are you I know you do another thing with pitching without buzzwords. What do you consider the buzzword?
Well, anything that's of the moment. So there's this thing. It's an Americanism. Oh, that tracks.
Right.
So I understand what you've just said, and it might work in my office. Oh, that tracks. So
Yeah.
you hear it once, and then you go, okay, that's, and then you have the it's new, it's novel, and then it's peak, overused, cliche, and then we
Right.
like these podcasts and so forth. They don't go out instantaneously. If or you're a lot of people I know are traveling to different countries and speaking,
Yes.
and you will have some places. You go to Vietnam, track hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Then it's happening right now in America, and it might be over somewhere else. So
Yeah.
if we de-buzzwordulate, that's not a word. Then I mean, I quite like plain and simple. A lot of my work is second language English audiences,
Right.
complicated audiences who might be from three continents.
Yes.
By the way, here we go. Here we go. Here we
Yeah.
go.
I love this.
Did a gig in Ethiopia.
Wow.
Would you think I could make them laugh?
Ye- I'm gonna I
Exactly. I don't know.
yeah.
Not for the first day. We were there for 2 weeks. Not for the first day. I just don't think they could see this Londoner saying things.
So you were training C-suite people?
C-suite going from one African country to
Right.
continental Africa, however many countries there are now,
Yeah.
55, 56.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. But I think it was the first day. Are we meant to laugh? Is this funny? Is he trying to be funny?
Right.
They got the vibe. The rest of the 2 weeks were just delightful, and
Wow.
they were coming back with zings and zangs, mocking me and pulling my leg. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Do you find it's different when you're dealing with different genders? Male, female?
Okay, you've got the intercultural piece, which is
Yeah.
different. It's more. If I say bants, that probably hasn't translated to the
No.
UK. What would it be when blokey blokes have a blokey bloke lexicon and interaction? It can be like mockery. When you're being rude to
Yeah.
someone, it's an
Yeah.
act of affection.
Right. Yeah.
You have a different dynamic with women,
Women.
so you don't go sexual, you don't go
No.
physical, but you can still go business. You can still go
Yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah.
You can talk about the mind. You can talk about language, and so there is a different. I mean, basically, with different, you have to test the waters these days.
Know
The
your
police are always
audience.
watching. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Due diligence. Due diligence. I mean, which is the essence of presentation training. It's
Right.
not about you. You are the conductor of the orchestra.
Yeah.
Beethoven wrote the material. You're delivering it. And it's all about the audience. Are they going to laugh? Are they going to learn? Are they going to change? Are they going to take action? Are they going to get it?
Yeah. Absolutely. So communication across cultures, when you're teaching that, how are you teaching that? And is humor a part of that? Or do you
Oh,
stay away?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm doing I tell you what, I'm doing a coaching after this
Yeah.
for some Americans who are coming over to a town in the north of England.
Okay.
That's the definition of culture shock. They're going to drink less and be rather polite and have much better teeth. They are going to have a fairly cultural. Oh my word, what's happening here? So we're doing all of that. So I soften the shock and the drama and the difference by using humor, and that is
Yeah.
so. There it is. What is it? It's ointment on the wound. It's a sort of dressing of the
Yeah.
shock. It's a soften. It's a softener. So when you sort of mock, so I would do self-deprecation. So here we
Yeah.
go. So we have this free at the point of service health center. So one of my cultural briefings is, okay, you've got something wrong with you and you want to get an appointment. And you registered with your GP, your general practitioner doctor. This is how you do it. And of course it's difficult. They say, nah, broken leg, don't worry about it. And then you say, I'm literally giving them things. You will have to work
Yeah.
hard to get an appointment. You will have to work hard at the doctors to see a specialist. You will
Yeah.
have to work hard. Our ER is called A&E, and
Okay.
you go there and you think you're going to be treated. No, it's triage. It's literally
Right.
ER. When there's a Chicago fire. It's a mess, and you have to do
Yeah.
all of this. So you humor softens the shock of actually, guys, you're going to have to do something fairly real when you're in pain.
Yeah.
And so that became part of my comedy routine of how to get an appointment at the NHS, the National Health Service.
Yeah, of course. It's the same here. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm dying. You're fine. Go sit down. We'll get to you in 8
yeah.
hours.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's
Fill in the
fine.
form.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, it's Kate. I can't believe you made it halfway through the show. Look, if you or anyone you know would like to be a guest on Humor in the C-Suite, I would love to have you. So email me, kate@katedavis.ca. Have you ever been somewhere and the humor's missed? And how have you gotten out of that?
Sweden. I've played
Sweden.
from I've Sweden so from Finland and Sweden. Oh my god, we had this life sciences biology company, fairly famous. And they decided to switch off the old humour machine that day. So that was hard work. So I was doing quite cheeky chappy. I came
Yeah.
in very late. They were high energy. The room was massively overfull. There was nowhere. There was sort of standing room only. And I maybe nervously just went into, slightly comedy routine and they weren't having any of it. I changed gear after an hour, but it was too late. Another one, Finland.
Yeah.
The ice was this thick on the way there. Judges aren't famous for having a sense of humor. Finnish men aren't famous for talking at all. So that combination was fairly painful. And I literally couldn't get a response out of them, not
Yeah.
even a laugh, not even words. I
No.
think I had to go on strike. I said, I'm not going on until someone speaks.
That's so interesting because I always find when I'm speaking, it's really about how
Yeah,
I'm connecting at the beginning and how I'm starting it off. And I have had times I feel like almost like physically my throat will close if I feel like I'm not connecting with them.
totally, totally.
Right?
Well, here we go. This is the other idea.
Yeah.
Presentation skills. Do you feel nervous before? So I was in a gig. I went back to the Czech Republic, the Hilton Hotel. They're taking over the whole of the big hotel. There's two of them.
Yeah.
And I was 550 people, and we were going to do a negotiation exercise with real money. Try getting 550 people to bring real money to a negotiation exercise. And I had a scary moment. I wasn't frightened. I wasn't nervous. I didn't have the juices flowing. And I thought, that's not good. So I
Yeah.
sort of revved myself up and then we had a good time. No, very good. You've got to well, meet them where they are.
Yes.
And then with presentation, you've got to interrupt. So interrupt in presentation terms
Yeah.
is a positive word. So everyone's busy. No one's got any attention. Everyone's cynical. So it's got to be good. And negative is more effective than positive. So a bit of fear, a bit of risk, a bit of this, bit of hell versus heaven
Yeah.
goes down quite a long way. And then you've got to repair. So you've got to connect and then you continue.
And how do you find when you feel like people are pretty closed off like in Finland? And we are saying meet them at their level. So are you just saying, okay, well, forget the jokes, or are you saying
Oh,
are
yeah,
you
yeah,
or
yeah.
you're just being your authentic self?
What did I do? Have you heard of Brexit?
Of
The
course. Yeah.
Britain took a weapon and chopped her own toes off. Ah, that'll show you, Frenchies. Um, I was doing a Brexit explainer in Austria,
Yes.
who are very European,
Yeah.
and I was doing two cheeky chappies because I had my best friend there. So people from Northern Ireland, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and I'm from England. So
Yeah.
the United Kingdom was fully represented. And I was doing cheeky chappy with them, and they were laughing their heads off. And I suddenly realized I have utterly lost everyone else in the crowd. So my
Wow.
bad. I was doing a cheeky chappy informal
Right.
when it was proper. So Austrians are famously formal. If you go informal
Right.
too early, they're absolutely horrified. So there I pulled it out of the bag, and I just had to sort of stop and go, right, let's continue.
Okay.
And we managed to save that one.
Is that your
But
serious
I mean,
voice?
yes, exactly.
Right. Let's continue.
Let's be an adult for a bit and see what happens. Uh, no, and you get it. It's not real. Presenting and training, it's not real. You can play a bit of a game. You can put on a mask. You can change the thing. You can do whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Have you found when you have been dealing do you have like tips or advice you're giving people when it comes to humor and in the C-suite?
Well, yeah, don't tell jokes. Don't tell jokes. I mean,
Stories.
it's always the dad joke. It's always just this
Yeah.
absolute 7-year-old in the playground. Please don't do that. Don't do that. They just go, and everyone's just doing this. Okay, fixed grin. Oh dearie, and their brain is going off to sex
Yeah.
and shopping. What's on Netflix? You've lost them. And, when you've lost people through, but I mean, I do like, we're going to go bankrupt precisely on Tuesday at 12:34. I
Right.
do quite like some catastrophizing or just brutal truth or whatever it is. I mean, that's quite fun. That's quite just to,
Yeah.
as you say, switch to the side
Mhm.
with some sort of unexpected summary, some sort of reconciliation of what's been going on.
Yeah.
And remember, it's also a test. If people aren't listening, they won't laugh. So there's a
Right.
listening test, and there's an understanding that if you do set up and punchline and people don't laugh, they're also not understanding what you're talking about. So again, we get the test through humour. I mean, light humour is okay, just exaggerating, but everyone, it's rather like a best man speech. It's always the same formula, and everyone is so bored with it.
Yeah.
And every keynote speaker goes at 2 p.m. Oh, you probably had a heavy lunch and you want to sleep now. Just, oh God, we've all heard it 1,000 times. Please
Yeah.
don't do that.
No, are you finding within your groups that you're visiting, are you finding personal benefits for yourself when
Oh, I
you're
love it.
yeah,
I do it. I say this and I actually mean it.
yeah,
I say to a sophisticated group, of which there are many, many, many that I've been involved with, I will get as much out of today as hopefully you will receive.
yeah,
I get my stories. I get my humor. I get the fatherly buzz of watching them, these little chicklets, grow into beautiful swans and flying off.
yeah,
Literally with presentation, I do a self-rating. I did one this week. Or I did many this week. Oh, I'm a 4. And at the end of our coaching, they're an 8. You go, proud dad moment.
yeah,
Um, the Czech Republic. We had 35. We had dozens or so people who learnt to earn a living post-Soviet empire as capitalists. I mean, that's fantastic. It's so
yeah.
rewarding.
And yeah, and the politics when you're dealing with that and people coming from different,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
governments or situations or
yeah. Well, if
yeah.
you have someone good comes to England, I offer them a job, prime minister.
Prime Minister, PM, love it.
Yeah,
PM.
yeah.
Are you finding that in terms of your speaking and your coaching, what do you prefer to do, speaking or coaching? Do you love it both?
I love guesting on podcasts. I like a keynote speech.
Yeah.
But my thing, well, yeah, did you ever get this? Sometimes my brain just empties like a
Yeah.
flushed toilet, and you're going, "Oh, here we go." I'll be paid quite a lot of money to speak for 45 minutes, and they don't want me using notes. So you'll do the
Yeah.
whole thing, and then your brain is gone. But I tell you what, every single time. By the way, I saw Whoopi Goldberg fairly recently, And she just lost the plot twice. Where was I? Everyone shouted it out, and it works. Where was I? And
Yeah.
everyone shouts it out. So that's a great. So I wouldn't want to do keynote speaking every day because I'd
But
ruin
you
the
love the
engine.
coaching.
The coaching. What have I got next week? I've got sort of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I've got five in a row, five in a row, five in a row. So that
Wow.
gets a bit much as well. I tell you what, a day's training with a nice group of people, a modest number, 8 to 14,
Yeah.
and you really can tailor it for their needs, warm them up, get them to do some homework, buddy up and continue. And you know you've done something pretty beautiful,
Yeah.
of value, and you walk away. Also, you walk away and go, okay, that's done. Next. So that's quite nice.
And it
That's
just
quite nice.
seems like humor is such a big part of building people's confidence in being great
Yeah.
communicators.
Very good. So they are understanding the structure of language when they laugh at a joke. When
Yeah.
you continue and you use different types of humor, which is fantastic, or just energy as well. And if you look at it, you can do word emphasis, you can do word selection, you can do contrast, you can do various rhetorical or oratory structures of heaven and hell, or whatever it's going to be, or quick reverse, or
Yeah.
something, a Hollywood V. Steven Seagal is happily married. His wife has been killed. He swears to get revenge. He goes and he messes it up. Whatever it is, it's a story structure or something.
Yeah. Well, and I just love the fact you said it's such a listening sport,
Mm,
right?
it's all about listening.
And that's what communication is. It's all about listening. It's not what you're
Yeah,
saying, which is why I love improv as well, because it
love it.
really, it's
Yeah,
yes and it's continuing it. It's
yeah.
it's being applicable, but it's also staying curious and all those great things that make us
No,
great.
Ted, I think presenting will keep you young,
Yeah.
or it'll finish you off. You'll either retire immediately. But I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And re-entering, putting a foot back on the stage as an oldie is quite an interesting one to do because everyone looks at you and just like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
So that's quite fun. And I do have a lot of energy, and so you come in
Yeah.
and you just go for it, and you do get this. Some 25-year-old looks up at you like, shouldn't you be sitting down?
Yeah.
So that's quite fun. Yeah,
I
very
love
rewarding.
it. I love it. Okay. I always love to end the podcast of what is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you? Can you give us a story?
My brain
It's
instantly
not a clean
goes.
podcast. Everyone's like, no, I'm
Well, no,
kidding.
let's not go there. Let's not go there. Why don't we talk about the Margaret Thatcher moment? I just observed something. So
Okay.
I'm in Prague. Two English people get an invitation to the opening of a Winston Churchill statue.
Okay.
So that sounds good. I feel totally. I was on a Saturday. I don't know when. I had a party back at my
And
house
this is in
late.
the 80s, early 90s.
This is in the late 90s. Late
Okay.
90s. Yes, yes, I'm that old. Uh,
Stop.
So there's a couple of things that happened there, and it was so funny, and I just laughed, and it was just a real. And I get to speak. I got to speak with her later as well. She's there, and there's a translator, and they haven't found the money to get the bronze Winston Churchill statue. They're renaming the square. So she's opening a paving stone. She's opening a nothing. So that's one thing. That was quite funny. Two, she did this weird logic. She said, I knew Winston Churchill, who died in 1965. We're all just really getting confused here. In 1941, he was writing a speech at his desk in Downing Street, and she made it sound like she was standing next to him. So she would have been 5 years old.
Yeah.
We think, well, that's lucky, isn't it? That you stayed a conservative for all that time and became prime minister. You took his job later. So that was quite funny. And then she did this weird thing at the end. So she was doing subtle English, and the translator was doing fairly basic Czech. I will start to wind up now. And so the translator said, she's finished. So everyone started to clap. What did she do? Her health wasn't 100% at that time. She came back just with Margaret Thatcher's 200% energy. I haven't finished. And it was just like, and then the poor translator goes, oh, I've messed this one up.
Oh my
So he goes,
gosh.
uh, guys, just bear with me. In Czech, bear with me. We'll just see what's going on here.
Oh my
And we did the
gosh.
whole thing. And then we spoke and we did this, and we did that. And everyone was just freaked out and
Yeah.
scared of her. So she was 80 something. She
Yeah.
was still powerful. She was still scared. And I've dined out on that story and a few others,
No.
meeting these various people.
So
It's all good.
great. So great. Are you, how many languages do you speak?
Kate, you are insulting me. I'm British. We only have to speak the one.
One. Okay. Okay.
No, no, no. I know you're thinking with my multi-country. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bohužel mluvím špatný česky. For the 1% of your audience who are Slavic, they will get that.
Okay.
I do my pauvre français, malheureusement. I do a lot of work in Paris, so I do
Okay.
that. There, just a quick one. These blue collar Frenchies
Yeah.
come out and they go. The rude name for a Brit is a roast beef. A roast beef. Do you
Oh,
know why?
why?
We tan badly and look like rare
Oh,
beef.
wow.
We have the same
Okay.
pink as rare roast beef. It's the roast beef. And they will be nasty for 15 minutes. They will
Yeah.
be not
Yeah.
because they don't want to speak English in a less than perfect form. So
Right.
that's always a thing.
The perfectionist always stops me. It stops me from doing so much.
I know.
So,
Well, the American thing is fun. I love America. Everything, the best of America is the best in the world. But there is this language thing where you just, maybe you're expecting more. Brits just don't have to. My wife speaks 5 languages,
wow.
which I find incredibly awkward and incredibly useful. So it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
You know, it's always, I live with a brainiac as well. I get it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being a guest on Humor in the C-Suite.